Good morning, everyone. It is Tuesday, the 26th of March, and holy crow, do we have a lot of news. And I scared the poop out of myself with this wig. I was walking into the gas station and I didn't recognize myself because only me. But thank you, Eris, for being a mod. Good morning, Squid Pro Quo. I tried to add you as a mod. I don't know why your picture is not coming up, so I will try that later so that you can put your little doodads in because I need to add more mods. Amy D, 1949. I hope you are having a great day. And Greedy Bloke, we'll wait for some people to come in before we start on the first story. But yes, this is, the new wig that I got last night. I so about once a quarter, Rebel Gypsy, where I get my very nice wigs, um, they will have a luxury wig roulette, and I will buy that, and so I never know what I'm going to get, and this is the Mega Karen wig. I already feel like I need to speak to someone's regional manager about a coupon from somewhere. Mr. Mo was not amused. Good morning, Cynthia and Ghost Fox and Fisher of Men and Michael Wyatt. Thank you. He was just like, "Oh my god, tell me when you're gonna do short hair." Good morning, Mag in Florida. So we have some kind of really sad and terrifying news. I have checked out with our lovely, lovely Flux and Miss Flux, and because they live, aroundish the Baltimore-ish area, and you know, I really could. I could join Kate plus 8. Although I don't have the porcupine butt thing in the back. And I have seen that out in public, and y'all, don't, ma'am, madams, misses, don't. Good afternoon, Melanie Dawson from West Yorkshire, England. It is so amazing that, I'm meeting people from all over the world. I will be redirecting you guys to Vices. Vices is an actual maritime lawyer, he knows ships. I am not a shipologist. I am not a bridgeologist, so he will probably have a lot more wisdom. And thank you, Miss Kay Grift, for joining, and she also has a channel. I need to remember to plug people, but I don't, but she is awesome possum. So thank you for stopping by, and we definitely need to get a round table of ladyisms that aren't The View and don't suck out loud going sometime soon in my mini squirrels of things to do. But our first news story is, well, it's incredibly sad, but divers are frantically searching the water for victims after a ship strikes and collapses Baltimore's Francis Scott Key Bridge. Now, Francis Scott Key was the man that wrote the Star Spangled Banner. And just interesting factoid tidbit that I have because look, a history weirdo. Uh, Lincoln actually imprisoned Francis Scott Key's grandson for writing not so favorable press about him. So the man that wrote the Star Spangled Banner, his grandson was imprisoned for writing not so great things about Lincoln because, stuff. Anywho, let's get on to the very sad things. Let's see. Oh, well, Michael Wyatt, I hope that no one you knew was affected, and my heart and prayers go out to everyone who was. I hope that the divers can find everyone who was lost, so the families at least have something they can grieve with, and I can't imagine just the unexpected, loss of a family member with something like this. I just can't imagine it. A mass casualty event has been declared after a bridge in Baltimore, Maryland was struck by a container ship Tuesday morning. Horror footage shows the moment the Francis Scott Key Bridge crumbled after a vessel crashed into the central part of the structure. The steel arches then instantly dismantled into the Patapsco Patapsco River short look, I have to phonics these things out. Shortly after 1:30 AM, several vehicles fell into the water. I mean, it was just horrifying, and I will tell you I was half awake, so I didn't even see the boat the first time I watched it. I was like, "It just collapsed on its own." Mr. Mo had to explain to me that big dark thing was a boat. Oh, well, I hope that everyone's family is okay, and I mourn and I my heart goes out to the people whose family. Oh, was it Poxitant? Okay. Well, I do hope that the community and people just wrap their arms around the people that that lost loved ones today, early this morning. It was unclear how many vehicles were on the 1.6-mile-long span of the Baltimore City Fire Department, but the Baltimore City Fire Department confirmed that at least 7 people were in the river. Rescue workers are searching for about 20 people at this time, a fire department spokesperson told CNN. Baltimore City Fire Department's communications chief, Kevin Cartwright, has called the incident a, quote, developing mass casualty incident. The dive and rescue team arrived on scene to locate individuals, Cartwright said. Cartwright said emergency services are now trying to rescue and recover people believed to have fallen into the water. This is a dire emergency, he added. As sad as it is to say, this happened at possibly the time where it would affect the least amount of people, and that is not in any way to take away from the people that have lost loved ones. But if this had happened during rush hour, the loss would have been unimaginable. It's unimaginable now, but the casualties would have just been insane. The horror collapse was filmed and uploaded to a YouTube live stream video, which showed the structure collapsing into the water. The U.S. Coast Guard and Maryland Transportation Authority confirmed the crash but provided no further details. All lanes are closed in both directions for an incident on the I-695, so 695 Key Bridge. Traffic is being detoured, the Maryland Transportation Authority wrote on X. Well, I mean, I guess both lanes of traffic are closed. The Baltimore County Executive Johnny Olszewski Jr. said on X that rescue efforts are underway. Please pray for those impacted. The department said that its surrounding body of water was filled with diesel fuel. The Singapore flagged container ship called Dolly. Sal, why were you involved in this? Had left Baltimore just after 1 AM and was heading to, Colombo, Sri Lanka, according to the maritime data platform Maritime Travel. Multiple Coast Guard boats marked as search and rescue vehicles were circling the vessel around 3 AM. Baltimore Mayor Brandon M. Scott wrote on X, I am aware of and en route to the incident at the Key Bridge. Emergency personnel are on scene and efforts are underway. A spokesperson from the Baltimore Police Department told NBC News that people were possibly in the river. However, it is unclear how many. Quote, I can confirm at 1:35 a.m., Baltimore City Police were notified of a partial bridge collapse with workers possibly in the water at Francis Scott Key Bridge, Detective Nikki Fenoy said in a statement. All lanes were closed in both directions following the horror incident, the Maryland Transportation Authority. Well, of course, both lanes of traffic are closed. There is no bridge anymore. I mean, I hate to state the obvious, but good Lord. The bridge, which is part of I-95, was built in 1977 and crosses into Baltimore's harbor. The Post reached out to Baltimore Police Department, Baltimore Fire Department, and the U.S. Coast Guard for comment. Journalists, they're busy doing stuff, so maybe just leave them be. I mean, I know they have public relations people and all that stuff. And good morning, puzzled puzzler. And what cute doggos you have. Okay, let's find uh keep your friends close and your friends well, your enemies closer, I guess. A Powerball jackpot winner, Theodorus Stryuk's neighbors want him to get security, fear abduction after a 1.765 billion prize. Neighbors of California's newest Powerball billionaire are worried that some quote unquote shady person could abduct the man if he's not careful how he spends his new fortune, according to a report. Theo Struck, 65, represents the group that claimed 1.76 billion Powerball jackpot and reportedly placed a no trespassing sign on his Fraser Park residence. Quote, "We're keeping an eye out, but you worry about shady people up to no good," neighbor Kevin Wooten told the U.S. Sun. "I'm worrying someone might come by, put a sack over his head, throw him in a van, and take off with him, that sort of thing. I'm hoping he'll look into security when he returns. You have to with that amount of money. If he needs any security, he'll be fine. I have Jake here, this dog, and we're cheap," Dan Perry, owner of ANC Fireworks, told the outlet. "If I lived here, I would not want to be named. Now he has a big bullseye on his back." California law mandates jackpot winners be named along with their location. Depending on which state the jackpots are won in, there are various requirements on how much personal information is made public for the winter or winners. Perry suggested Struck donate some of the money back into the town to help it out. "This town needs every bit of help it can get," the business owner said. "It's one of those rural towns in California that's kind of neglected by the state capital in Sacramento. The economy's been down for years. It would be great if he could open a small business or something like that, but if I lived here, I'd get the hell out and get a nice place in Santa Barbara or something." Stryak's current whereabouts are unknown. The outlet reported that the grandfather is believed to be visiting family in San Diego. Yeah, let's just give out all information about where he's being located right now because holy Bob, that'll make it much easier for people to find him. Like, well, we allege that he's here too. I said, "I wonder if he's on an around the world vacation right now. I wouldn't blame him at all." Stryak per or Strike or Stryuk purchased the ticket from Midway Market and Liquor Store, only 500 yards away from his home in the mountainous community. Customers have continuously flocked to the Midway Market, hoping the store will have a second stroke of luck to produce another lottery grand prize winner. It's funny the amount of people going back to the market after the win. It's like lightning is going to strike twice, Perry said. Powerball players have another chance to win the grand prize after no ticket matched the numbers for Saturday night's drawing, increasing the coveted prize to 80 million. The winning numbers were 6, 23, 25, 34, 51, and a red Powerball of 3. Y'all, I can tell you honestly, I have never bought a lottery ticket. I get really bad. It's the weirdest thing to have social anxiety about, but if there are people waiting for me behind me in line, I feel terrible taking up a bunch of time. So I have never bought a lottery ticket because I would have no idea how to do it, and I don't wanna waste the other people's time behind me in the line to have the clerk explain it to me. So, you know. Yeah, besides, look, I don't go to the gas station much. To be honest, I don't go inside. Good morning, Jeff Clark, WCM. Neighbors believe Stryak will continue to live in the small mountain town where he won the life-changing jackpot 5 months ago. Strike's win, announced earlier this month by California State Lottery, was the second largest lottery in history, only 28 million behind Edwin Castro's 2022 win. Quote, "I don't think he's gonna move. He's happy where he's at. He's not in the city, no offense. It's quiet here," Wooten said. "He's out mountain biking and fishing and enjoying his retirement. I hope he doesn't sell. He's a great neighbor and completely humble." He's probably not gonna move. He'll just be that guy that lives in the neighborhood that won the lotto, and we'll leave it at that, you know? Regardless of Stryek's decision, Wooten says he's going to continue living next to him as normal. We'll still do the same thing. We'll drive down the street, wave at each other. We'll catch up on news and stuff. We'll go about our business. He's just has an incredible amount of money now. Oh, that is just awesome possum. Like I said, I have never played the lottery because I get Twitter pated at the weirdest daggone things that I, am worried about. But that is, in other news, if you were wondering what the latest hair trend for males is, and, apropos because I am wearing this wig, are you listening for my grammaticalness, Mr. Zach? Hyper realistic toupees are the hottest new flex, with some spending a hair raising amount of dough to look their best. I will tell you, as a person that is fairly into wigs, for a good human hair, and I mean all human hair, um, very good wig, uh, it can get pricey, like super de duper pricey. I know. I found myself, sitting straighter and just walking taller. It must be the hairdo. I think the hairdo imbues you with some sort of self-righteousness. I'm not sure, but I do feel like I'm like, "Hmm, I am better." No, I'm just kidding, you guys. But I could see how you would feel that way. These men are embracing their Great Recession. Expensive, hyper realistic toupees are the hottest new flex online and in the Big Apple, with some spending a hair raising amount of dough to look their best. One Upper East Side hairstylist, Terry Green, hawks her handmade toupees for a whopping $6,800 because they are a cut above the rest, she told the Post. Good morning, King Pokey Master of the Railroads, WCM. I made sure I had to double check that twice because I wanted to make sure that I wrote that down on your little taggy card right. So I had to double check that twice. She probably inserts the hair and everything. So yeah, those things can get way expensive. Now, I don't have any $6,000 wigs because I am I'm a hundred air, but if I won the lottery, there would be signs. I'm just saying. My pieces are real human hair ethically sourced from nonprofits in the United States, Green explained, adding that the process of installing her hairdo entails attaching one piece of hair at a time. While they are expensive pieces, they give people another good option besides baldness and hair replacement surgeries, which aren't effective for everyone, Green said. This month, 31-year-old Corey Magnum made the 45-minute trek from his home in Port Chester to sit in hair replacement specialist Geraldo Quinones's chair at a barbershop in East Harlem and have a $1,500 toupee glued to his follically challenged head. This poor man. Oh my goodness. Do I not need a $6,000 wig? Magnum, a contemporary ballet dancer who's been balding since 25, went to Quiones, who owns the Royal Crown Hair Club, for his first, quote, hair system, end quote, in November, before Magnum performed as the lead prince in the prestigious Nutcracker Ballet. I mean, it looks very, very natural. I will give them that. When you think of a prince, they usually have hair, Magnum pointed out with a chuckle. His new do won't budge while Magnum is dancing, according to Quinones, 33, who said the piece's thin polyester base allows for sweat to come through the top. The toupee's hand-tied real human hair came from a supplier in India and should last Magnum 4 to 6 months, Quinones continued. At first, it was weird to have hair again, but I like it. I feel like a new person once I get out of that chair, Magnum told the Post. Even my dance director was like, "You're dancing more confidently now." So that is spirit gum. They are basically just gluing this to his head. Now, I do like the fact that I can just wear like a hairnet and then bobby pin. I don't have to glue anything to my head. Keith, a Big Apple based wedding band performer, has been going to the Chelsea based hairstylist Uh, Delanya Nikolova. S Where are these names coming from? Also, sadness that his guy liner is better than my eyeliner half days. Just sadness. Has been so for toupees, which are essential for his mental well-being, he said. When I got older, my hair started thinning more, and it started to depress me quite a bit, said Keith, 48, who also noted he struggled with body dysmorphia and eating disorders throughout his life. The hair just helps a lot. The happier I am with what I see in the mirror, the easier it is to control the body dysmorphia, Keith explained, adding that having a toupee just feels right. This one I am not as impressed with, but that's just me. I know. That's that's where I get sad. I'm like, "Can one of you help me with, cat eyeliner?" Because they look less like twins than more distantly related cousins, and I would just like help. I have gotten the stamp thing. I have tried everything to make a cat eye, and I think I am just quite terrible at it. And I hope that I can make you laugh, Lori, hopefully. But also still, yeah, jealousy that his eyeliner looks better than mine. In 2022, the wig and extension market was valued at over $7.7 billion. Dollars. Guilty, I might be helping that. In part because of the growing prevalence and glamorization of hairpieces on social media, according to the department or to a report by Data Horizon Research. More men can do attitude is not only because today's toupees look more sophisticated than they did in the past, with smaller, thinner, sturdier bases, but also because there's less of a stigma surrounding fake hair, said Quinones, who shares videos of his clients' shocking toupee transformations with his 21,000 Instagram followers. One 28-year-old Californian man's entire livelihood is based on documenting his hair loss journey for his almost 850,000 TikTok viewers. Yeah, you uh, you know, you may be right, Greedy. Although I will say, uh, 11-year-old Mo thought that George Michael was quite, the bad boy and very attractive. I just didn't realize that maybe we might both find the same guys attractive. After nearly 5 years of undergoing a series of hair transplants, treatments, creams, and vitamins, on February 24th, Zeph Sanders visited Newport Beach based self-proclaimed toupee queen, aka a hairstylist named Emily, who specializes in false pieces for men. It's exhilarating, the whole transformation. It felt like a new me, definitely boosted my self-esteem, said Sanders, who lives in Huntington Beach. Uh, the aspiring influencer said Emily's toupees usually go for about $2,000, but she gave him a deal because he raved about the experience on TikTok that amassed 2 million views. It's a viable option for people who are able to pay for it, and it's worth it. I mean, it does look fairly natural. Yeah, well, he's an influencer. He's documenting his embaldening. I don't know. Look, I will tell you that, if I am having a bad hair day and I throw on a really cool wig, it does make you feel better. I will give them that. And Jeff, I hope you are having a good morning too. Oh, where is In other news, this may be my new life goal. I don't know. I have to convince Mr. Mo. We sold everything to live on a cruise ship. Now people cook and clean for us and we feel like we're rich. I mean, to to be honest, can I just do that now for 6 months? I have heard of a hat, but, if you've seen if you watched me for any amount of time, you know that I gave birth to the largest headed children. I might have a giant head. So, finding hats that fit correctly are not that great. Life has been mostly smooth sailing for Brzoska and her husband, Jory Conley, since selling all their worldly possessions, ditching the daily 9 to 5 grind, and becoming full time cruisers. The toughest decision the seafaring sweeties have to face each day is whether to luxuriate around the ocean liner's pools or spas. All my meals are cooked by chefs, and the staff change my bedding, bragged Brzoska, 32, an ex teacher from Memphis, Tennessee, to The Sun. I haven't stepped into a kitchen or used a wash machine for over a year. Y'all, look, if I ever hit the lotto, which would be odd since I don't play it, there will be signs. Mo will be on an Alaskan cruise for years. She said, I'm not a millionaire, she added. I just live full time on cruise ships. Brzozowska didn't immediately respond to the post's request for comment. However, while floating to exotic sandy locations as staffers supply her every needs seems like a dream, she admitted that life on the water can sometimes be a drip. There are challenges, of course, conceded the blonde. We miss our families, but know we can fly home if there's an emergency. In fact, a family crisis inspired the voyaging lovers to set permanent sail 2 years ago. I was desperate to see the world, said Brzozowska, when my dad, Andre, now 68, needed a liver transplant in August 2022. My mom, Lucinia, 60, said to me, don't wait for retirement to follow your dreams, do it now. With her parents' blessing, the holiday making millennials who met during a teaching gig in July 2015 and tied the knot in July 2022 or 2020 said bye bye to the rat race and aye to luxury boating. Y'all, look, I'm sure they did this and sold their house and all this other stuff, but holy fazolies. This is like every single thing on the home improvement channel. It's like my wife does part-time, claymation baking, and I raise and breed chameleons. And our house price point is like 6.9 million. Every daggone time, you are like, "How are these people affording this house with what they do?" It just no. I don't understand how 2 teachers can live now full time, but I'm sure they'll go on and explain it. "We already had a week-long Caribbean cruise booked for March 2023," said Brzozowska. "Instead of coming back, why not keep booking consecutive cruises for as long as we can afford to?" The wave riders carefully calculated the cost prior to taking the blunt plunge. They ultimately managed to make their ocean motion work for less than $10,000 a year. Y'all, I will be reporting live from my cruise ship shortly. I'll tell Mr. Mo I found a new temporary office. Accommodations, food, and entertainment would be included. We'd only need spending money, said Brzozowska. She and Connolly, ma'am, you could have changed your name to Connolly. I swear this, but instead you torture me with the name Brzozowska. And I don't even think I'm saying that right. Both 36 previously had taken a series of week-long carnival cruises to hotspots such as Mexico, Belize, Grand Cayman, and Costa Rica. The twosome's frequent floating awards let them have massive discounts on future trips. I mean, I am glad they are living their best life. I am just like, also like, I'm going to be gone for 6 months, y'all. It'll only be $5,000, Mr. Mo. We earned access to some amazing offers, she said, if we chose the cheapest cabins or savings from the illness of unknown origin and we don't talk about, uh, we could, allow it could allow us to book 8 months of cruising for about $10,000. Some trips were paid in full and others were with deposits. To keep their income, flowing, the in and out of Honeys rent their three-bedroom house in Memphis. Brzoska said leaving life on land has been freeing. Before, there had always been lesson plans, cooking, and cleaning, she said, but all of that is gone. Rather than being preoccupied with work and chores, Brodowska now spends her days enjoying craft activities, playing trivia quiz games, and busting a gut at comedy shows offered on the boat. Her hubby, too, happens to find watching television and chatting up his fellow passengers at the bar very fun. Taking their marriage to the high sea has made holy matrimony a splash. Have a wonderful day, Zach. I will try to butcher all of the English language now that you're leaving. I will rememberate all the things, and I will throw away all the rules. I am a grammar outlaw. They'll never find rate me. The nonstop tourists have even scheduled a weekly date night during which they don their best duds to dine at one of the fancier restaurants aboard. Plus, it's kind of hard to quarrel while sightseeing at some of the most fabulous corners of the world. Oh, I'm pretty sure I could achieve it, especially with this wig. Since setting adrift, the adventurous darlings have visited dozens of countries, including Fiji, Japan, and Greece. In the last year, they've been on 36 consecutive cruises, often disembarking from one watercraft to jump on another at the same port. No, Bob Boner, I did not hear what Kamala said hit the bridge first, or that the bridge hit the boat first. Oh, good lord. That is just about, well, that's just about stupid enough to be real in the year of our clown 2024. Well, thank you. I have a true problem with run-on sentences. Look, I wanna get the entire paragraph into one entire sentence, and that apparently is not a good thing. So I have run-on sentence-itis. My teachers despaired. They are far from the only jet setters to make life on the go part of their love story. Couple Marcel Pop, 33, and Vendula Zakova, 31, recently quit their jobs to explore the globe together just 2 days after meeting on vacation in Vietnam. Oh, good lord. That sounds like a recipe for disaster. And New Yorkers Matt Robertson and Kiani Lee threw caution to the wind on their third date, taking an impromptu excursion to Costa Rica, only to be stuck on the island for nearly 4 months during the illness we do not discuss and of or unknown origin. It was a crazy, surreal experience, Robertson told the Post. Brzoska agrees, crediting her new world on water with brightening things up. In our old life, we had moments we called glimmers where everything seemed magical, she said. Now I feel like my whole life is a glimmer. It really is a dream come true. Um, real life makes you appreciate the glimmers. If your entire life is a glimmer, oh, thank you so much, Audio Coffee. I will look that up. I have to take middle son to get cavities filled. I was so Last week was the wrong week, so this Tuesday is actually the Tuesday, to which my son was like, "Why are you trying to wake me up? I don't have to get up." In What a Daggone Douche Canoe, a firefighter unalived his wife and tried to cover it up as a seizure, deputies allege. He's a douche, allegedly. A fighter called his wife's, fa fetical fatal medical emergency as a quote unquote "seizure," but people who knew them had concerns that the victim's death was anything but natural, according to the deputies in Clark County, Washington. Kevin West, 49, is charged with first-degree murder. Deputies say that he contacted 911 early in the morning of January 8th to say his wife, Marcy West, 48, was having a seizure. Within minutes, he advised the dispatcher she had stopped breathing and he was initiating CPR, authorities wrote. Washagogal, y'all, these names. I just shoot myself in the foot every day with these names. Police department and Kevin West's own colleagues at the Camas Washagal Fire Department responded at 4:27 a.m. Medics arrived and attempted life-saving measures, but the resuscitation efforts were not successful. The sheriff's office wrote, Marcy West's time of death was pronounced at 5:11 a.m. Cops and county medical examiner's office started a death investigation. In the following days, several people reached out to the authorities with concerns about the couple's relationship. They feared that Marcel West may not have died a natural death. The autopsy found trauma to her neck. Sir, if you're going to claim it's a seizure, do not give her a noticeable neck hug. YouTube approved language here. For the love of all that is Cheetos. From there, the investigators started a crime investigation. Police passed the case to the Clark County Sheriff's Office counterpart in order to avoid any potential conflicts of interest. Through their investigations, detectives learned that Kevin and Marcy were experiencing both marital and financial problems, authorities wrote. Based on the comparison of interviews with Kevin and the evidence found at the home and contained in Kevin and Marcy's cell phones, it appears that Kevin has given detectives contradictory statements. The medical examiner on Wednesday determined that Marcel West died of asphyxiation with blunt trauma to her neck, so it was labeled a homicide. Well, I don't think it was limp since she passed away. But sir, you are I am glad you are dumb AF, so you're going to get found out, but it's called a divorce and just get one. Do not do this kind of BS. Why are people so ridiculous? The sheriff's office detectives arrested her husband on Friday and booked him into the Clark County Jail. Kevin West is scheduled to have a court appearance on Monday. What an absolute rancid piece of trash. Seriously. Um, I changed my mind. I'm moving here. I checked it all out. Most of the time I don't look at the articles, but I was like, "Yes, I'll move here." Now I just need $500,000 in change somewhere in my couch instead of, wrappers from food that is not supposed to be eaten anywhere in the kitchen shoved into the couch. I just need to find money. Good morning, Jude. A dreamy off the grid house on private New York Island with no public electricity or water asks for $500,000. There and sold. No, I just sit in front of the fireplace and never move. I have my giant dog bed and I simply never move. I'd sit in front of the fireplace and make s'mores and then turn out to look like Jabba the Hutt. But still, I'd be happy. Good morning, Flash fan. I am fine. I hope you are doing well. I'm actually giggling because I cannot wait to go to the dental office because I always go there in different wigs. But I've never shown them because this is new. So I'm wanting to see who recognizes me and who doesn't because, that's just who I am. That is a problem. I will have to see if Amazon delivers. They may be able to drone stuff out there. Not far from Fire Island, an isolated beach house is quietly looking for a new owner, one who doesn't mind roughing it. This 1,950 square foot property is located on Oak Island, a lesser known blip of land just north of that famous Long Island vacation community and across a thin channel from the eastern edge of Jones Beach Island. It's currently listed for 500,000. The four-bedroom, two-bath abode is only accessible by boat and offers proximity to two surf locations, a gated dock slip, and no public utilities, Curbed first reported. Y'all, this is my house. I have wanted an antique fireplace or oven and stove set for so long. Those things are hella expensive though, and this is in such good condition. That's because Oak Island lacks public electricity, water, trash collection, and even postal or emergency services, the New York Times reported. The land is technically owned by the Village of Babylon, to which 22 Oak Street owners pay approximately $3,000 a year to lease the land, but Oak Island homeowners must rely on themselves for most necessities and conveniences. Uh, You are fine. I totally understand. Good morning, Casey. I hope you are doing well and having a great day. If you come over, you need to be a hearty soul, lifelong Oak Island summer resident Marie Liddy, then 81, previously told The Times. You have to be able to do almost everything by yourself. Again, I have found my place. For those not turned away by the ruggedness, the residence is quite dreamy. There's a shingled facade, a porch with an idyllic water view, and a fireplace equipped living room. What's more, the upstairs bedrooms are airy. This is this is an ad for this. But it did not have damage from Hurricane Sandy. So there you go. If you are more than 100 air and you live in New York and you would like to get a getaway place, here you go. There you are. I don't think it's the same Oak Island with all the buried treasure, but I could be wrong. Uh, As not a geologist or a geographyologist, I do not know. In Poor Puppers does a Poor Puppers thing because this is something that Friberto would do, I imagine. Firefighters in New Jersey come to the rescue of a yellow Labrador stuck in a spare tire. Poor puppy. Firefighters in southern New Jersey came to the rescue of a dog who got stuck in a spare tire. The Franklinville Volunteer Fire Company crew found Daisy, an 11-month-old yellow Labrador, when they responded to a Franklin Township home last Thursday. Her neck was deep in the middle of the tire rim, and firefighters worked quickly to devise a rescue plan while attempting to keep Daisy calm. Lieutenant Brandon Vlope told the Philadelphia Inquirer that the crew first used dish soap and water but couldn't free the dog, who was pretty stuck in there. Then they tried vegetable oil. When that didn't work, they put plastic a wrap around her neck, hoping the oil and soap would make it slippery enough for her to slide down. When that also failed, Vlope remembered he had plasma cutters used for cutting steel and metal at his home. So the crew put Daisy on a red wagon and headed to his garage. Uh, Vlope or Brandon recalls that the dog, quote, panicked a little, but a fire blanket was put around her neck and head for protection. Within 5 minutes, Daisy was free. There you go. So, see, poor puppers, they just get into all the things. And a story from my neck of the woods, although old, a bygone Muncie. So, this is from Indiana State News, the Star Press. Police matron Alfrietta Hart in the 1914 battle for Cocaine Alley. Now, that sounds like, you know what? That's a series I would watch. This chick, you know, kicking butt, taking names, shutting down, you know, Powder Alley. I'm just saying. On January 9th, 1914, Muncie police raided the city's near South Side brothels, gambling dens, and illegal saloons. At the time, this red light district east of Walnut and south of the tracks was known as, uh, Columbian Marching Powder Alley. Muncie police arrested about 40 people, including 25 ladies of the evening and a dozen speakeasy and cat house patrons. Muncie's new mayor, Roland Halva Doc Bunch, orchestrated the blitz to fulfill a campaign promise to abate the Magic City's houses of ill repute. The evening press reported the new administration has announced it will pursue a determined effort to quote unquote clean up Muncie. Kicking kicking butt and taking names. I'm dyslexic of phrasing. The city in the early 1910s was known as a wide open town, a euphemism for a community that tolerated a level of 21st or 20th century vice, gambling, drugs, liquor, and ladies of the evening. Suffrage for each was hotly debated in the years before World War One. Places like Muncie were ground zero for progressives pursuing social reform. In those days, organized gambling was illegal, but generally ignored when hidden and made outright invisible with a bribe. Hard drugs like powder and other powder were available in Muncie in the early 1910s, but widely condemned. Reformers concerned about both addictions and its impacts on family, likewise for alcohol. Enter this chick. Beginning in the 1890s, temperance reformers pushed Delaware County's local government to pass ordinances banning the sale of spirits. Good morning. Okay, I'm going to try Astral Nomad. See, I was afraid I wouldn't be able to read that, but then I just read it because phonics. I can English well sometimes. They met fierce opposition. Local wets advocated for legal saloons and regulated liquor sales, while dries generally sought total prohibition. When and where booze was suppressed by law, speakeasies, known then as blind tigers or blind pigs, opened in Muncie. The city's lady of the night industry also flourished. I'm going to have to go visit Muncie and see if they have a museum of the shenanigans. We are reading a story of um, a past time in a local city in my state, but I did not realize that one of my local cities in my state was basically Sin City in Indiana in the 1900s. So apparently, we had all the vices in Indiana in the 1900s in Muncie. Stories about houses of ill fame appeared frequently in local newspapers between the mid 1880s and World War One. Cops raided and arrested often, but it rarely forced closure. Ladies of the night typically just paid a fine after a night in jail and returned to work the next day. Many local reformers actively opposed ladies of the night outright on moral grounds and abhorred the association with trafficking. All these issues came front and center in the 1913 mayoral race. Let's see. They had a choice of 5 candidates in that race, all of whom postured against vice. The Republicans nominated local industrialist Michael Broderick, and the Democrats ran a physician and city councilman Roland Bunch. They faced off against the Progressive Party's Harry Kitzelman and socialist Carl Johnson, and grocer George Wilson, the People's Party candidate. Wilson and Kitzelman were the most vocal about Muncie's dens of inequity. Kitzelman, a son of a local streetwire baron and roller skate tycoon, remarked during his campaign that, quote, "If I'm elected mayor of Muncie, I will exterminate the blind tiger business and the houses of ill fame." Bunch, a known wet on the liquor issue, offered voters a measured platform promising that all ordinances in the city of Muncie shall be enforced, as well as laws of the state. He also pledged to hire a police matron, a female officer assigned to cases involving women. For years, Muncie reformers had called the Muncie Police Department uh, They wanted them to hire a woman. Leading advocate for such a hire was Daisy Barr, a Quaker preacher and reformist goody goody about town. Well, we can tell that the author apparently likes the liquor idea. Muncie also needs a police matron, the Reverend Barr told Morning Star reporter in June 1913. Girls are being ruined not by the twos and threes, but by the dozens. Bunch won the election by a plurality of votes. Within a week, a delegation led by Barr and local doctors, Lucius Ball and Edward Mason, led or met with the mayor elect to formally advocate for a police matron. A few days later, Bunch announced Alfrieda Hart for the role. The Star praised the decision in an editorial, writing that Miss Hart has long been known as an ardent and eloquent advocate for the uplift and purification of the morals in the city. They hired Helen Lovejoy. They hired the original Karen. Alfrieda Martha Poorman Hart was indeed well known by people in Muncie as a reformer in 1914, as well as a member of high society. Her husband Thomas was a prominent gas boom era industrialist and co founder of several companies, including Mara Hart Glass and Interstate Auto. The millionaire couple frequently rubbed shoulders with the politicians. Oh, I can't imagine why she was picked. She's a local person who has a lot of money, who hung out with the mayor, Helen Lovejoy. Alfrieda was born in 1861 to Christian and Martha Poorman. Her father was a prominent Ohio businessman, publisher, and state politician. The Poormans hailed from look, I just wanna see how she took down Coke Alley, for the love of all that is holy. Okay, let's see. Alfrieda was the ideal choice to serve as Bunch's police matron. She harbored socially conservative progressive views, but was a wet on temperance advocating for a regulated sale. To underscore her anti prohibition bona fides, she even spoke publicly against dries at Windsor Grand on the eve of the temperance referendum in 1914. Of course, rich, wealthy politicians do not want you to cut off sale of booze. Come on now. During her 11-month tenure as police matron, Hart investigated or fielded cases of runaway, assault, rape, and working as a lady of the night. She handled 40 cases in her first month alone, operating from a suite of offices in the Johnson building. 2 weeks into the job, Hart led a raid on a blind pig in Coke Alley. But as the year progressed, Alfrieda's unabashed Catholicism and vocal anti prohibition brought her enemies. One of them was Daisy Barr, who later in the 1920s would resurface in Indy as well, of course she would. I love my state. Who would later in the 1920s resurface in Indy as the imperial empress of that three-letter organization that was really big in the 20s, but I'm not gonna name them because YouTube will but you can imagine it starts with 3 letter it's a three-letter word, come on now. Hart might have been pressured to resign, but she did officially in November of 1914, citing health reasons. So there you go. A woman, in the past cleaned up Coke Alley for about 10 months until, another woman decided that she just didn't go hard enough on not drinking booze. You guys were alive before air conditioning. Uh, m so a blind pig, they explained earlier in the article, was what, speakeasies were colloquially called at the time. So it was either a blind tiger or a blind pig, I guess, because you would pay, bribes. Look, I am not a historicologist of Muncie or speakeasies, but, I guess that was the colloquial term back then. So we say speakeasies, but they would say blind pig or blind tiger. Well, so they were, basically to only deal with ladies of the night. So it was determined that in order to deal with, um, the massive amount of cat houses, if you will, there should be a woman, to, uh, work with the either ladies of the evening or victims therein. So that's actually kind of progressive for and our final story, I will leave you with a giggle, and a bunch of blurred things. But an NYC firm is accused of smexy toy bootlegging. A manufacturer of, quote, fantasy-themed smexy toys has accused an upstart Brooklyn, New York firm of knocking off its distinctive designs, according to federal lawsuit alleging that the defendant has infringed on copyrights for adult, um, novelty items, including Spritz the Sea Dragon and Tyson the Water Buffalo. God, I don't even wanna know. But I will Google later. In March 20th, a complaint filed in U.S. District Court in Arizona, Bad Dragon Enterprises contended that its quote unquote sculptural products have been illegally copied by Sin Saint, which is headquartered in Coney Island warehouse and advertises that all of its ethically manufactured toys are made in Brooklyn, USA. Bad Dragon, which noted that it has significant commercial success in the adult toy field, alleged that Sin Saint has been selling the knockoffs through a website and other trade channels, including a recent AVN Adult Entertainment Expo in Las Vegas, where they had a booth next to an all-nude Palomino strip club, I guess, exhibition or I don't know, booth. I mean, I don't know. What in the actual weirdness? The lawsuit identifies 13 separate sculptural objects that Bad Dragon claims have been copied and renamed by Saint, which was incorporated in New York last year. The colorful silicone toys feature scales, tentacles, suction cups, and other design elements. Um, so I'm sure that you can what am I doing with my life? Some Bad Dragon products that Sensate is accused of swiping are Kelvin the Ice Dragon, Stan the T-Rex, and Virgil the Drippy Dragon. Sensate has not been accused of pirating other Bad Dragon offerings such as Jason the Demigorgon or Cuttlefish of Cthulhu. According to the lawsuit, Sin Saints Council last month stated that the company began removing, quote, some of the allegedly infringing listing for redesign. This response, Bad Dragon contended, was quote unquote unacceptable, adding that it continues to be harmed by the defendant's ongoing unlawful contact. Do do you have a doll where you can show that Sin Saint hurt you? The Bad Dragon complaint seeks an order, enjoining Sin Saint from continuing any further alleged copyright infringement and seeks disgorgement of all the defendant's profits related to the artificial sculptural items. The company may also seek statutory damages of up to 1,000 or $150,000 for each of the sculptural objects in question. For more than a decade, Bad Dragon has sought trademark and copyright protection for their various sculptural objects. While often successful, the firm's application to trademark its Tube of Wonder was abandoned after a government attorney rejected the um, completing sculptural object license because the applied for mark consists of or includes immoral or scandalous matter. The application included a very not safe for work image that can be found at the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office website. dear Lord. I knew I was setting myself up for failure with this one. According to an August 2023 trademark application, since Saint's owner is Olag, uh, s- you have got to be kidding me. Semenetko, 50, a resident of Brooklyn's gated Seagate community. Oleg lives less than a mile away from Saint's warehouse, which shares an address with Globe Marble, an industrial molds business, for which he is listed as a manager in a separate trademark application filed this month. In a brief interview today, Oleg said he was asked how the adult sculptural object firm grew out of his original business. Quote, "We work with rubber," he replied. Olag dismissed the Bad Dragon's claim that his products were unique and original. This is his own quote. "How can octopus hand be your idea?" End quote. Y d I do have um I do have a not safe for work pillow pattern that someone put up that I can crochet, so I might do that for Mr. Mo for his birthday. This is just dumb enough to be real. In the year of our clown 19, or 19 2024. So there you are, the battle of the adult sculptural products, including Spritzy the Sea Dragon, and all sorts of other horrifying names, uh, will continue until one is, disengorged. On that note, I am going to let you guys go. I am going to take middle son to the dentist, and then I will see you guys later. I know, let me pull it up here somewhere. Fraudit Editor is going live sometime this afternoon, and I am sending you guys over to Legal Vices. He is a maritime lawyer, and I think he will still be explaining what happened with the bridge. He is obviously much more, competent in all of those subject matters. So he will give you the best advice. Have a wonderful day. Say something kind to yourself and something kind to someone else. And I am going to go Karen the heck out of this day by being a kind Karen, if it's possible. But I am generally kind. So to be fair, I think this hair may be imbued with like the soul of an old Karen because I do find myself sitting a little straighter. Have a great day, guys. Bye.